way to your mat, to your space. Roll your shoulders back and down. And I'm actually going to have you start off in a child's pose. So if child's pose feels awkward on the knees, then go ahead and slide a rolled up towel or a blanket or something in between your glutes and your heels. So take your knees out wide, big toes to touch, and then let a blanket come in between your hips and your heels. And let your forehead come down to the ground. The forehead might not come all the way to the earth. You could also rest your forehead on something like a pillow. You just want to make sure that your neck, your cervical spine is comfortable. It's not doing anything weird. So take your time and find that space. Close down your eyes. Wiggle your jaw from side to side. And then as we prepare ourselves for physical asana practice this morning, as things have kind of been changing and we are moving into the reopening phase of things, and I know there's a lot of conflict and people don't quite know maybe which side they're on or how they feel. It brought me back to this thing that I posted a long time ago. And this is talking really about like life just in general. But I feel like whenever we come into all of these different things that happen around us, to us, within us, that this still speaks volumes. And it's called Choose Your Part. And so it says, when the lights in the theater go down and the curtain goes up and the play begins, it cannot be stopped by me. Only the director can do that. But I can choose my part. What will it be? A comedy, a tragedy, a mystery, a fantasy, a pleasure cruise, a competition, a search for truth, a boring experience, a jail, an adventure, a playground, a chance to change, a search for love, a bank account. I get to choose, but I must choose, or the play will play me. Choose your part then, don't wait. There's no sick leave, and there's no rewind. And then it ends with Shakespeare's quote, the play's the thing. So choose your part, y'all, right? And play it with all you've got. Whatever you're feeling about all of this is right. It's valid and it's perfect. And we as a society are going to support all stopping points on the spectrum of this whole thing because that's our job, right? That's our job, and that is what we are supposed to do. So if you would like to cue up your music at this point, the Spotify playlist is open. And if you're in your child's pose, maybe you slowly begin to rock your forehead from side to side. Allow for the gentle massage of the third eye center across your mat. And maybe you start to reach your fingertips just a little bit more towards the top of your mat. As you let your hips sink back and down towards your heels. Relax your shoulders from your ears. Now completely exhale. And then inhale, press up into a box pose. Stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers out wide. And as you inhale, go ahead and sway your hips over to the left And on the exhale, come around to the right. And then shift your shoulders, your chest back forward. So moving right away into hip circles, right? Allow for your head to hang down for a moment. Just get that first, I don't know about y'all, but kind of circular motion this morning to wake up the body, find some fluidity. And then take them in the opposite direction. So you sway out to the left, shift forward, and over to the right. And then slowly come back to center. On your inhale, let a soft belly drop down. Lift your chin, lift your tail, press your heart forward. And then you exhale, arch your upper back, separate your shoulder blades, drop the crown of your head down. And then inhale, soft belly to the earth, lift your gaze. There's a sway to the low back. And exhale, press the earth away, dome out your upper back, maybe tuck your chin. And then inhale the belly down, lift your gaze. And exhale, reverse the movement, take your time. Now come back into a neutral spine for a moment. Now, keep your left hand as it is. You can turn your right fingers out to the long edge of your mat, or you could flip your right fingers all the way back towards your knee, right? So getting into a little bit of a wrist stretch. Inhale, let a soft belly drop down, lift your chin, lift your tail. Exhale, arch your upper back. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, belly up. Inhale to a neutral spine. Flip your right fingertips back towards the top of your mat. And then left fingertips either towards the long edge, so just turning them out to the left. Or you can flip them all the way towards the knee as long as there's no pain. You're not pushing into anything. Inhale the belly down, lift your chin, lift your tail. Exhale the belly up. Inhale to your cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. Inhale to a neutral spine. Exhale, flip your fingertips back towards the top of your mat. Now as you inhale, extend your right leg to the back of your mat. Come to the ball mounds of your right foot. Stretch your right calf. Now in this space, make sure that the low part of your belly still pulls in and up to support your lumbar spine, and you can rock forward and backward. Take your time. And then stack your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, lift your right leg up to about hip height. On the exhale, cross your right foot over all the way to the left. It comes off of your mat. And then pull your right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Gaze over your left shoulder, maybe. Just open up through the right side of your body. And then you inhale, re-extend your right leg towards the back of your mat. Exhale, just take your right knee to the ground, come back into your box pose. Take your left leg, lift it, and then drop the ball mounds down to the ground. Shift forward and backward. Broad collarbones, long, strong spine. You breathe in and you know that you're breathing in. You breathe out and you know that you're breathing out. And then you stack your shoulders over your wrists. Lift your left leg on an inhale. Cross it all the way over to the right as you exhale. Let the ball mounds come to the floor, not the mat. Stack your right hip, your thigh, your knee. And then pull your left shoulder forward, your right shoulder back. Maybe your chin moves towards your right clavicle. Good, y'all. And then you inhale to slowly come back, lift your left leg. Exhale, left knee down towards the ground. Now take an inhale, walk your hands back. You could always take a block. I'm going to give you two options. You could come into a modified heroes, or for those of you who just want to take heroes, I mean, it's fine. Or you could sit down and cross your legs, right? So in Sukhasana. But lift your chest. And then from here, as you inhale, open your arms out to a T and then reach them up overhead. On the exhale, drop your right hand in between your shoulder blades and let your left hand find your right elbow. Now lift your chest, open your collarbones, and then you might hinge slightly to the left as you look underneath your right tricep. And just get a little stretch right here. And then you inhale, come back to center, reach both arms high. On the exhale, left hand drops between your shoulder blades, right hand finds your left elbow. Lift as you inhale, chin off of your chest. That one's a hard for me. And then as you exhale, you might just kind of hinge to the right, look up underneath your left tricep. But there's no pain in the spine, so if the hinging bothers you, just stay straight up and stretch your left tricep with your right hand. It's enough. Come back to center. Take an inhale, reach your arms out high. On the exhale, let your hands come down behind your low back and grab opposite elbows. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back and down, and just stay here for a moment, feeling this counter action to what we're most of us doing all day, every day. Some of us now driving a lot again, working from home at a computer, probably not walking around very much. On our phones, that's me. So open up your chest, nice and slow. Good. Take one more nice deep breath in. Relax your brows. You could even close your eyes. And a deep breath out. Release your hands. Let them come down to the ground. Lift your hips. Slide the block out from underneath you. And then from here, you might have a couple of books or pillows or blocks. So take your big toes to touch, your knees out to the side edges of your mat. Bring your blocks to the ground and then rest your hands on your blocks. You might have to press them a little bit forward and take a more active child's pose. Let the forehead come down to the ground. Press your palms into your blocks. And just notice how this intensifies everything happening in the upper back, the side body. I mean, I feel it all around my shoulders. If it's too much, if you're not into it, skip it, you know. So, but just intensifying here if you need to, right? Take about 3 more breaths right here. Allow for the backside body to inflate, to open, so your backside ribs are moving with your breath. And then everything deflates back down as you exhale. Soften your hands down to the ground. And then lift onto your hips and draw onto your knees and draw your blocks back a little bit closer. Now, this may or may not be something you're into, so just give it a shot, and if you hate it, stop, right? So your hips come back down towards your heels. I'm gonna take my elbows onto my blocks, let my forehead come back down, press the palms in towards one another, like prayer hands, and then drop my thumbs towards the nape of my neck. If that is more than what you feel like giving today, then just take the other option or any child's pose that feels good. I had to scoot my blocks a little bit farther away from me to increase the sensation. So just breathe here. Like I feel this all through my upper back, my underarms, my shoulders, a lot in my rhomboids. All right, slowly release. Lift up onto your hands and knees. Slide your blocks out of the way. And then let's get moving a little bit, yeah? Curl up your toes. Press your palms into the earth. And then lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. All good. Allow for your heels to feel heavy. So this is the second, decent calf stretch you're going to feel since we already did the first one. So maybe you notice your heels get just a little bit closer to the ground, but it doesn't matter if they don't. It's all good. Now as you inhale, roll to the ball mounds of your feet. Bend your knees, look forward. On the exhale, just step your feet to the top of your mat, nice and slow. Inhale, pull the crown of your head forward, the tailbone back, the belly up. Hands could even come to your shins or blocks. And then exhale, melt your chest to your thighs. Let the crown of your head hang down. Just here for a breath or two. Release your neck. Completely exhale. You can keep a bend to the knees. And then slowly come up as you inhale. Reach your arms out and up and look up. Root down through your feet as you exhale. Bring your hands down to heart center. Broaden your collarbones. Roll the shoulders back and down. Now pull the pit of your belly in and up and feel your feet connecting to the earth beneath you, the mat, whatever it is that you're standing on, right? Now you inhale, reach the arms back up, but as you reach, let your navel pull up and away from your pubic bone, your sternum up and away from your navel. Get nice and long. And then as you exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees, forward fold, crown of the head down. Inhale, take your halfway lift. And on the exhale, I'm going to step straight back to a downward facing dog since it's gentle. Those of you with the chaturanga vinyasa flow practice, feel free to do that, right? But keeping it gentle, so I'm stepping it back to downward facing dog, crown of the head down. Awesome. Now bend your knees, look forward as you inhale, take your time. On the exhale, step your feet to your hands, nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift, crown forward, tailbone back. Exhale, chest to your thighs, crown of the head down. This time on your inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low, and reach your arms high for chair pose. Now the choice is yours to pull your feet together so that the ankles and the knees and the inner thighs are touching, or to leave your feet about hip width distance apart to release any compression or discomfort in the low back. Pull your belly up. Sit a little bit lower, that's your inhale. And then forward fold as you exhale, lubricating our joints, warming up the body. Halfway lift as you inhale. Again, if you've got the chaturanga and that's just going to put your life together today, take it. I'm going to step back to downward facing dog on my exhale, an inverted letter V shape with the body. Crown of the head down. And then you inhale, float your right leg up into the sky, nice and slow. And then you exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Back foot flat, 45-degree angle. Bend your right knee, let it stack over the heel or the ankle. Take your time and move your arms up over your head as you inhale. Stack your shoulders over your hips. So here you are. Press actively into the outer edge of your back foot. Engage your left hamstring, your glute, and allow for your left hip, your left side waist, your ribs to wrap forward. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. It just has to be honest. Relax your shoulders back and down. If you feel like you're pushing, pulling, trying to force, I want you to stop what you're doing, relax your face, take a deep breath, and then try again, right? Now reach your arms up a little bit higher as you inhale. And then bring your hands down. Step your right foot to the back of your mat as you exhale. Those of you who know where to go, if you have something different, do it, right? Good. Now inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, left foot to your left thumb, back foot flat, 45-degree angle. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, just settle in and stay. Take your time getting here. We're not in a hurry. Your left knee tracks the heel of the ankle. Relax your shoulders back and down. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. The arms get fatigued. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your fingertips a little bit higher. On the exhale, hands down, step your left foot back. We meet in downward facing dog. Hips high, chest towards the thighs. Awesome, y'all. Take a soft bend to your knees, look forward as you inhale. And then just step your feet to your hands as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chest to your thighs on the exhale. Come all the way to standing as you inhale. We're just flushing all of that out. Hands to heart center as you exhale. Arms up, look up on your inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. We'll meet in downward facing dog on the exhale. Inverted letter V, Up Mukha Svanasana, chest towards the thigh. Good. Feet about hip width distance apart, hands about shoulder width distance apart. Now from here, take a soft bend to your knees. Gently come down to the knees and the shins. We're not staying here for long. You could slide the block between your ankles, or you could just sit back on your heels. Now grab whatever it is that I had you grab. It's either your towel, your strap, what have you. Just kind of putting this here in the middle before we go any deeper, right? So I'll face you so you kind of see where I'm at here. But depending on your shoulder mobility, so there should be no pain here, but it might feel crunchy or uncomfortable. So you want to take whatever it is you've got, your towel, your t-shirt, and you want to make two fists grabbing opposite ends, right? And then you want this to be wider than your shoulders. And so you're going to have to kind of feel it out, especially since I can't see you. But I like to kind of bring it down, let whatever I'm holding touch the tops of my thighs. And then I lift back up, inhale, come over my head with it, and then let it work back and down as I exhale. Now, most people do not have the range of mobility that I have in my shoulders, so let's just go ahead and say that. So you might be stopping like right here, right? Like I am going to come all the way down. So see what you've got. There should be no pain. If you have to grimace to get through it, don't do it. Do something, don't go that far. Just take a few rounds of this like shoulder floss here. Again, working into opposing all of the stuff that we're doing all day. Especially my friends out there that have been biking a lot, right? Like, you're rounded forward a lot and gripping with your hands a lot. I've been on my bike a lot more too, which is not nearly as much as some of you. But I notice that my hands get tired because I'm not used to gripping the handlebars. So just feel this out for a moment. And then when you're over it, release whatever it is that you used off to the side. Bring your hands back down to the ground, curl up your toes. If you need to take any movements to kind of clean that out, feel free to do so, and I will meet you back in downward facing dog, and we'll move some more. Just notice if down dog feels any different for you after opening up the chest, lubricating the shoulder joints. On your inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, step your right foot all the way forward, back heel flat, 45-degree angle. As you inhale, float your arms up overhead at your warrior one. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Relax your face. Inhale, let your floating ribs lift up and away from the hips. On the exhale, notice how you pull them together to support your back. One more inhale. On your exhale, open your arms out to a T, warrior two. Move your feet so that the right heel intersects more or less with your left inner arch. Arms out like a horizon. Soft draw of the pubic bone towards the navel so you lengthen your low back. Gaze to your right fingertips. If being completely still is not for you today, you can take a small little like body pulse, right? Coming out a little bit, moving deeper a little bit. Good. Take one more inhale. And then straighten your right leg. Reach your right fingertips forward and let your right hand come down as you exhale, left arm to the sky. Your right hand can be on a block. It can be down to the ground. Gaze follows your left fingertips. Unless that bothers your neck, look straight forward. Breathe. Inhale, bend into your right knee. Leave your left arm as it is. Exhale, you can either take your right forearm to your right thigh, right hand down to a block. I do want you to notice, so even when my right rib cage, my right side waist touches my right thigh, I'm still pulling up through my obliques, right? I'm just very short torsoed, and so I've got something, it looks like I'm resting on my right leg, but I'm really not. So remember that. Just warming up your right hip, opening through your left side body if you want. Take your left fingertips towards the top of your mat. And then you inhale, warrior two. Straighten your right leg, turn your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. And then as you exhale, pull the pit of your belly in and up. Hinge at your hips. Your toes are at 12 o'clock or slightly pigeon-toed. And hinge forward, let the crown of your head reach down towards the earth. I like to inhale, take a half lift, it's like a little reset. And then exhale, slide in a little bit deeper and take the chin towards the notch of my throat. Relax your shoulders from your ear. Maybe remove some of the weight out of the heels by coming to the ball mounds. If you topple over, just stop, drop, and roll. Tuck your chin. And then you inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, walk yourself to the top of your mat. Hands to the inside of your right foot. Heel to your right foot over. And soften your left knee to the ground. This is a great place to have maybe your blocks or your pillows underneath you, your books. You could also bring your forearms down to the ground. Imagine the heart pulls forward. You could take your right toes out to 1 or 2 o'clock and splay the right knee open. Just make sure your knee, ankle, and toes go in the same direction. You could also, if you need a quad stretch on the left side, bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand, catch the left ankle if you're into it. I'm going to pull my left shoulder forward and kind of look over my right knee. Side body stretching. And then gently come back to center. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. Take an inhale. And then step your left foot outside of your left hand as you exhale. Heels in, toes out. And allow your hips to come down to the ground for Malasana Yogic Squat. Hands are at heart center. Lift your chest. You could always, so if you notice your heels are lifting a lot, you could roll up the front of your mat and then kind of step your feet over it so that the heels are on the rolled up part and the toes down on the ground. Lift your chest. You could sway side to side. Any movements are calling to you, do that. And then as you're ready, hands to the ground, lift your hips on your inhale. Turn your toes to 12 o'clock, but leave your feet separated. Grab opposite elbows and just dangle down as you exhale. Bend your knees if you need. And let your hands come down to the ground. Heel toe your feet towards one another. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Arms out and up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, if balance is a challenge for you and you want to get close to a wall, feel free to do that. Root down into the four corners of your left foot. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers around your right shin. Relax your shoulders back and down. Lift your chest. Good. Flex your right foot. Find something to look at that's not moving. And then let your left hand find your right shin. Reach your right arm forward, up, and back as you flip your palm. Turn your thumb down. And then twist into your right leg. Now, if the thumb down is more than what you feel like doing, take it back up, right? Relax your right shoulder back and down. Twisting from the navel center, not from the low back or the hips. Come back to center. Right arm swims forward and down. And then your right foot down to the ground. Shake it out. All right. On the inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift as you inhale. Downward facing dog is your exhale. So get there how you get there. We're going to swim through all of that on the other side. Inhale, float your left leg up into the sky. Exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Back foot flat, 45-degree angle. Inhale to the arms up overhead. Settle in for your exhale. Gaze is straight forward, kind of at the tip of your nose. You breathe. Feel your body rooted in this space. Warrior one. One more inhale. Open it up, warrior two, as you exhale. Lengthen your stance. Left heel tracks kind of the inner arch of your right foot. Knee over the ankle. Arms open out to a T. Check in with your tail, your inner thighs, your groin. Open your chest. Reach actively through both sets of fingers. Inhale. Straight your left leg, bump your right hip back, left hand down as you exhale, right arm to the sky. Gaze traditionally follows your right hand. Your left hand could be on a block on anything that you need. You could also come up higher, right? And your left hand can rest very lightly on your left leg. Breathe. Take a deep inhale. Bend into your left knee as you exhale. Left elbow to your left thigh or left hand can come down to the ground. You choose. Your right fingertips are still reaching towards the sky. Maybe you reach them towards the top of your mat. It's whatever you need. You could also reach them down for a neck stretch, right? So whatever's calling to you. Remember to keep your breath nice and even. And then inhale to warrior two. Exhale, straighten your left leg, turn your left toes towards the long edge of your mat. And then as you inhale, lift your chest. Take your arms out to a T and peace finger your index and your middle finger. And then as you exhale, hinge at your hips to forward fold. Loop your peace fingers around your big toes. And if that's not available, just bring your hands down to blocks to the ground, whatever it is, right? If you're like, I'm barely making it to a halfway forward fold, pull your belly in and up. Find the hinge at your hips. Even if you have to bring your hands to your hips and just stay where you are, that's great. The hands can come down to the toes. You loop your peace fingers around and you pull up. Bend your elbows. Use your biceps to draw your lateral ribs in between your thighs. Even if they don't get there, that's the direction that you're moving in. Doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. And then you release, inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to the top of your mat, both hands inside your left foot. And then let your right knee soften down to lizard lunge. And then you're here, pull your heart forward. You could bring your forearms down to your blocks, down to the ground. Left toes out to 10 or 11 o'clock if you like. You could bend your right knee, flex your right foot. Find the space that you like for your lizard. And breathe deeply. Open up. But notice if you start to sag in your low back. So like if you're letting the kind of pit of your belly just hang down to the ground, over time that's going to pull into your lumbar spine. Speaking from experience, right? So pay attention to those little sensations. Alright, whatever it is that you moved into there, soft release. Your left hand comes back down to the ground. Or your right hand, whichever one. Yeah, left hand. Curl up your back toes, lift your back knee. That's your inhale. Right foot outside of your right hand is your exhale. Heels in, toes out, hands to heart center. Now, if you're just needing a little bit of a different sensation, I taught this variation of Malasana the other day. You would actually have to like lift your hips and bring your feet closer together and roll to the balls of your feet, separate out the knees. So it's more active for sure. And then your heels are lifting. Some people bring their, traditionally, yes, the heels are down. But it might be a little bit more accessible with the heels lifted. And then you just walk your hands forward and drape yourself down. Your forehead could even come to the ground. If you're like, that is worse than the normal one, then don't do it. It's all good. Alright, now walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift your hips. Turn your toes to 12 o'clock. And forward fold. Grab your elbows if you like. You could sway side to side. And then let your hands come down. Completely exhale, bring your feet together. This time come all the way up on your inhale. Arms out and up. Hands to heart center as you exhale. Root down into the four corners of your right foot. And bring your left knee in towards your chest. Now lace your fingers around your left shin. Relax your shoulders back and down. Flex your left foot. Now your right hand stays holding on to the left shin. Reach your left fingers forward, up and back. I like to rotate and open through my chest a little bit more with my thumb pointing down and my palm facing towards the long edge of the mat, the opposite edge. If you don't like that, leave your, that rotation is not great for some people. Feel it out. And breathe. Slowly let your left hand swim down, forward, up, and release. All right, y'all. One last little bit of standing. Bring your left foot to the ground. Now your right foot can come in like a little kickstand to your left ankle. For those of you with your half lotus practice, go for it if you just need that today. I'm keeping it gentle, so tree pose. Right foot slides up into your left calf. Could go up into your left inner thigh. Oh, my left foot is wobbly today. All right. Now bring your hands to your hips for a moment and try to level them out. Press your right knee back slightly and take a tuck of your pelvis so you really feel this in your right hip flexor. Then your hands can come to heart center. You can reach your arms out and up. You choose. Lift your chest. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. 2 more breaths here. And release. Now root down. Shake it out first, I guess. Shake it out. And then root down to the 4 corners of your right foot. Bring your left foot into your right ankle, your right calf, your right inner thigh. Working gentle balance here, right? Press the sole of your left foot actively into your right inner thigh. So it's not just like hanging out there, right? It's making deep contact. And breathe. And exhale to release, shake it out. Step your feet to about hip width distance apart. Slide your hands down your thighs until they rest just above your knees, right? And then I take my thumbs to the inner thigh, my other 4 fingers are on my outer thigh. And then from here, your feet are nice and wide. Take an inhale, drop your belly down, roll your shoulders back, and take a sway to the low back. So extend your tailbone back, so it's like a cow pose. And then exhale, curl your navel to your spine, your hips forward. It's almost like a cat pose, right? It's like this from the side. So you inhale, belly down, tailbone towards the back of your mat. Press your chest and your belly forward. And then exhale, curl it all in. Arch your upper back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to your neutral spine. And then exhale, just slide your hands the rest of the way down for a forward fold. Bring your hands down to your support or to the ground. Roll to the balls of your feet and soften your knees down to the mat. Cross your feet at the ankles, sit back on your heels, and extend your legs out in front of you. So with your legs out in front, if you have low back discomfort, you can take your feet about hip width distance apart, right? Otherwise, kind of bring them together. Bring your hands down next to your hips. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lengthen your spine. You could take a tuck to the chin. So you're working Jalandhar Bandha. It does give you a nice stretch to the back of the neck and the tops of the traps, right? And breathe. Just breathe here. Pull your belly in. Engage your legs. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift your chest. And slowly release. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Now you can bend your knees a whole lot if you want. And then you exhale, fold over your thighs. It doesn't matter if your hands catch your feet or not. If they don't, your hinges might be over to the sides of your calves. It's all good. But think of your chest. Pull it forward. Relax your shoulders back and down. And think of your sternum pulling towards your ankles, right? It's like rather than rounding down and going straight down, which is what people want to do, we're doing plenty of that right now. So really work on opening your chest, shoulders back, and walking your heart forward. And then slowly come back up. Perfect. Left leg stays extended. Bring the sole of your right foot towards your left inner thigh. And then just like you did in your tree pose, really make contact there, right? So it's not just hanging out. You really actually feel the sole of your right foot press in. And then you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Now you could use a strap or whatever and loop it around your left foot. On your exhale, same thing. Hinge at your left hip. Think of reaching your heart forward, and then maybe your arms come forward, right? Now if your hands do find one another on the opposite side of your left foot, I like to left hand grabs right wrist, and then lengthen my neck so the crown of my head is reaching towards my left foot. And just notice everything that happens on the left hamstring, the right rhomboid, the right lat, the low back, and the right hip. It's a lot, right? And you breathe. And then you inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to release. And we're just going to take it straight over to the other side. So your right leg extends long, the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. Now active right leg. There's no pain in your left knee. So if you feel anything weird in the left knee, you might need to decrease the bend or the angle, right? So we can talk about that. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Same thing, lengthen towards your right foot instead of rounding over your right leg. Once you're there, you've got your spot. If your hands are on the other side of your right foot, right hand grabs the left wrist, lengthen your neck by taking the crown of your head forward. Your gaze is kind of on your right shin. And breathe. Navel spins towards the right thigh bone. And then you inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to release. Now take your left leg out again. This time bend your right knee. Bring the right heel kind of towards the sit bone. And then there's about 1/5 width distance between your left inner thigh and your right inner arch. Now your left hand comes behind your left hip. As you inhale, reach your right arm. So you see I'm getting as long as I can first. On the exhale, you hinge forward, internally rotate your right upper arm bone and reach your right hand for the outer edge of your left foot. If you're still reaching for your left foot, you must stop here. It's no good to rip your rotator cuff or like to tear your shoulder or anything trying to force a bind that is not necessary. If your right hand catches the outside of your left foot, you can then wrap your right arm around your right shin, left arm around the small of your back and catch the bind. But y'all, and I cannot stress this enough, if you try to force a bind right here that your body is not ready for, all you are doing is prolonging your progress, right? I mean, like, you're just making it longer because your body has to be ready, willing, and able to open. And it takes micro shifts over a long period of time, and you just have to be okay with that. And man, if that's not a metaphor for the rest of our lives. But you just gotta be okay with it, y'all. Otherwise, you're gonna force it today, get it, feel like you're on top of the world, and never be able to do it again because maybe you've done damage to the body, right? That's not what we're here for. As you inhale, lift your gaze. On the exhale, release, just taking it straight to the other side, right? Right leg extends long, the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. Right hand behind your right hip. Lift your left arm up as you inhale. Get as long as you can. Hinge forward as you exhale. Internally rotate your left upper arm bone. Your left hand reaches for the outer edge of your right foot. If it's there, it's all good. You can try to take the left arm around your left shin, right arm around the small of your back. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze. You could stay just like this, or exhale, bring your forehead down. Keep hugging your left knee in. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to release. Nice. Now extend your left leg long. And then from here, take your time. We're going to do our twisting on our backs. Come down one vertebra at a time. Roll down to your back. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. From here, hug your right knee in and let your left leg go long. Relax your shoulders back and down. Take an inhale. Now you might have to shift your hips slightly to the right. Some people hook their right knee behind, the right toes behind the left knee to twist to the right. But take your right knee, I'm not talking the right, to take your right knee to the left. So you're going to twist to the left with your right knee. Reach your right arm out long, and maybe you turn your gaze to the right. Ideally, keep both shoulders down on the mat. Slowly come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. Extend your right leg long. It's an active leg. This time the left knee twists to the right, so you could hook your left toes behind your right knee. Don't worry about your left knee coming all the way down to the ground, right? Looking for a spinal twist here with both shoulders down on the earth. The face is soft. And then you come back to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. And then let your feet come down to the ground, soles of the feet together, heels in towards your sits bones for Supta Baddha Konasana, your supine butterfly pose. Now if you don't feel like doing any of the back bending today, just stay right here. Otherwise, a cobbler's bridge. Press the soles of your feet together, the knife edge of your feet down into the mat, hands down on the ground, palms to the earth. Roll your shoulders back and down, and then inhale, lift your hips into the sky. Stay for about 3 to 5 breaths. You might notice a little bobbing up and down of the hips, some shaking, some movement. It's okay. When you're ready to let your hips soften back down to the earth, do so. Slowly bring your knees up, but take your feet out to the mat's edge and knock your knees together. So it's a collapsed bridge. And then you have the option to windshield wiper your knees from side to side if you like that. Come back to center, hug your knees in towards your chest, maybe a happy baby. Peace fingers to the big toes or hands to the inner outer arches of your feet. Knees towards the underarm, thighs parallel to the ground. And then cross your right leg over the left just for a moment here. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Flex both feet. Hands can find the shins, the ankles. It's just the bottom half of a reclined Gomukhasana. Take an inhale. Slowly release as you exhale. Now cross your left leg over the right. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Hands find opposite shins, ankles, whatever you got. And allow for the feet to draw away from one another. So really getting into the outer hips. And then slowly release as you're ready. Hug both knees into the chest, and then if you want this to be a supported waterfall, bring your feet to the ground, lift your hips, slide a block or a book or whatever underneath your low back, like your sacral area. And then one leg at a time, lift your feet up into the sky. You could also take traditional waterfall, just lifting your legs with the hips down on the ground. Relax your face, your brows, your jaw. Feel free to stay here longer, right? Maybe you bring one foot then the other down to the ground if you have a block underneath you. Lift your hips to slide it out. If you need one more rounding of the spine, hug your knees in. Maybe you lift your forehead up to your knees. Take a deep breath in. And then open up to your Shavasana as you breathe out. I urge you to stay connected here. I know it's tempting to roll over and flip the video off. This is the most important part. So if you can, stay. Allow for your legs to extend forward and hang comfortably open. Breathe in. breathe out and rest. What you need is to be here longer. Please just tune me out and stay. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And on an inhale, reach your arms up overhead into your full body stretch. That lengthening of the spine, fingertips to toes. And then you exhale, hug the knees in, take your time, roll to the side of your choosing. And then slowly press up to Sukhasana, your comfortable, easy sit, right where you are. Roll your shoulders back and down, let your hands rest in your lap on your knees. So we take this final moment, this pause, this breath together to be grateful for our bodies, to be thankful for all that they do, consciously, subconsciously, every day, moving us throughout our lives, breathing for us. And I appreciate you all for stepping on your mats today. As always, eternally grateful for your presence, your discipline, your dedication to the practice, to yourself. So thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Please reach out. If there's something specific you want to work on, I'm happy to oblige. Peace be with each and every one of you. Namaste.